Alright, hello everyone. We are going to be drawing the folding chair reverse engineering style. So in other words, you've already made it, and now we're going to go back and draw the parts and make the directions that you would need to have in order to go back out to the shop and have somebody else make it. Okay, here's all the parts. This right here, we're going to be following this on one of your screens, and we're going to open up OnShape on the other one. So please go down and click on the OnShape login link right here. Okay, please sign in with your and if you'd hit the OnShape button and find the Create blue button, we will start a new document right here. And would you please title it your name? So your name and folding chair. Make that the title. And you can hit the Create button down here, and you should get a blank page to work with. Okay, so have OnShape on one of your screens and your directions on the other screen. All right, here we go. Let's go from top to bottom down the list here. I'm going to draw one of each of these items. I'm not going to draw four of that part, one of this one. I'm not going to do two of this. I'll just draw it once. Okay, you'll get the idea here as we go. All right, these first two are round wooden dowels. They are 5/8 in diameter. All right, so I'm going to start a new sketch. I'll use the front view for most of these drawings. I'm going to use the circle, center point circle. I will start on the center point right here. I'll pull out some random size, and I'm going to type either 5/8, which is 5/8, or 0.625 is the same thing in decimal form, and I'll hit enter. Okay, and you can see it converts it, 0.625. There's our diameter. Hit finish because we're done sketching it. And let's extrude it. Click the center, this area in the middle of the circle, and change depth over here to be 1.5. Okay, just like that. All right, let's rename it. And let's call it the 1.5 dowel. Enter. All right, let's start a new tab by hitting the plus sign down here. Create Part Studio. Okay, right click and rename it right away. Let's do the 9-inch dowel. Okay, the 9-inch dowel is also 5/8 of an inch. So let's use the front surface to sketch on. Grab the circle command again, start in the center point, pull it out. This time we'll type 0.625 just to be different. 5/8 would work. Enter. Finish your sketch with a green check mark and extrude. Pick the middle of the circle, and this time you're going to type 9, enter, for that dowel, and hit the green check mark. Okay, so the 9-inch dowel is done. Okay, hit your plus sign, create Part Studio. All right, our next item here on the list, okay, these are the braces. It doesn't say it here, but those are braces. They're 10.5 by 1.5. The thickness, it doesn't say it, it's 0.75. All right, so let's create a new sketch. Front surface. This time I'm going to grab the rectangle command instead of the circle. I always start in the center point, pull out a big rectangle. Don't worry about the size yet. Okay, right now you'll see that the length field is activated, and that is 10.5. If I hit tab, or click, let's try that again. Let's draw a rectangle, click the center point, draw a big shape, use your dimension tool, and let's make the length 10.5. And the width, I don't care if it's the right or the left end, pick one, click on it, and 1.5. Enter. Okay, finish the green check mark, and let's extrude this thing. Click the middle of it and type in for depth over here. These are 0.75. Okay, if you need to pause me, I am going pretty quick here. Feel free to pause the video to catch up. This is going to be kind of the same routine over and over. We're not going to draw any of the holes for the screws. We're just going to mate these together when we get done, so don't worry about those. All right, our next item is the seats. Okay, 4.5 by 12, and they're 0.75 thick. So hit the plus sign, create Part Studio, start a new sketch, use the front view, rectangle, center point, dimension, length is 12, enter, width is 4.5, enter, check mark, extrude, pick the middle, depth 0.75, green check mark. Okay, your seats are done. I haven't named mine yet, so I'm going to go right click and rename seat or seats, either way. Okay, next one up, plus sign, create Part Studio. Okay, we are going to be drawing, it looks like those are rails coming up. Right here, 1.5 by 9, and then we'll add the roundovers and the circles, the holes. Okay, we'll take care of those. So 1.5 by 9. Okay, start a sketch, front view, rectangle, center point, draw that rectangle. Okay, hit the dimension tool, and 9 is our length, 9 enter, 1.5 is our width, 1.5 enter. Okay, and before we finish this and extrude it, we do need to round the end, and we need to add the hole right here. Okay, according to the directions, all right, these have a radius of 3/4 of an inch for those roundovers, and the holes are 0.625 thick. That's because the dowels are going to go through them. That's where that comes from. All right, to look through your toolbar here for me, there is a tool called the Fillet, F-I-L-L-E-T. It looks like a corner's been rounded. Click on that for me. You can either click on the very corner or click on the 2 lines that include that corner. You'll see it gives you a preview now. It's only a 0.25 roundover right now, so we need to click on that size, or double click, I guess, and type 0.75. Enter. There it is, and do the same thing for the other corner. It should already say 0.75. It remembers the previous one, and hit enter. Okay, so that's looking good so far. And let's draw a circle at the center of this radius right there. And this one will be 0.625. If you start typing immediately, you do not need to go up and get the dimension tool. It will just give you that option right away. Okay, and now we're done sketching, so you can hit the green check mark. And let's extrude this thing 0.75, like all the other pieces. And green check mark. Okay, I'll rename that as a rail. So right click on the tab, R-A-I-L, enter. Alright, new Part Studio, moving along. It looks like our legs are next. They're 1.5 wide again, just like these other parts, but they're 15.5 long. The roundovers are the same. We just have these center holes. That's the only new thing to you. Otherwise, the rest of the stuff is a lot like what we just got done doing. So remember, 1.5 by 15.5 for this next one. So sketch, front view, rectangle, center point, long skinny rectangle, dimension, the length will be 15.5, and the width 1.5, enter. Okay, on both ends we need to round over with a fillet command. It should remember your setting of 0.75 already, so that's good. Hit enter, next corner, enter, zoom out, zoom in to the other end, 0.75, enter, and enter again. Okay, now for the holes, check the directions. Notice that they're on the right end and they're almost centered, but these are not perfectly in the middle, so we're going to have to use either of these two measurements to help us get there. So it's 8 from one end and 7.5 from the other. Okay, so let's take care of that. So watch me close for this. I'll zoom into the right end, grab the circle tool, use the same center point as last time. 0.625 is that one. Enter. Now when I go to the other one, I want it to be right on the center line, the very middle. So I'm going to kind of just hover but not click on these endpoints, and if you wander out here, it will help you find that center line. I don't care if I find the exact right spot out here in the middle. I just want to make sure I click while those dashed lines are showing right there, so that locks you into the center. Just pick a spot on the center line, and let's draw another 0.625 circle. Okay, so it's locked to the middle. However, we got to get this thing shoved over. It's not quite to the right spot yet. So I have a choice. I could either measure from the left end 7.5 to its center point, or from the very right end to the center. If you're more comfortable, you could subtract 3/4 of an inch and measure from the center of this hole to the center of that hole. Any of those work. I know I could click right on the center dot of this center point of this circle to this. That might be the easiest. So 8 minus 3/4 is 7.25. I'm going to go with that. You're welcome to try either of those other measurements though. So I'm going to hit the dimension tool. I'm going to zoom into the center of this circle and to the center of that circle, and 7.25. So again, that is from the center to center. It's not from the end of the leg. Enter. And you'll see it shoves it over, keeps it on that center line I just showed you. And that should be good. So green check mark. And let's extrude 0.75. Alright, so if all has gone well, you should have 6 part studios, and our assembly is waiting. Looks like I still need to rename my legs here. Okay, so those are all good. Alright, we're going to move on to the assembly now. Okay, the assembly is you putting all of your parts together. Alright, so we're going to insert all of these pieces that we've been working on. So we need 4 little dowels, 1.5. Just click and set these in place, kind of close to each other. Then move on. We need 1 9-inch dowel. We're going to need 4 legs. We need 4 rails. And we'll need 2 seats. Oops, that's 3 seats. 2 seats. And if you accidentally put the wrong number of parts in, you can go over here, hover, and right-click and delete. There we go. Now we're good. Alright, so we're going to put this all together. We'll go back and add some color to our parts. If you want to add color right now, it's pretty easy to do. You can right-click, and I'm sure you can reopen old parts and right-click on the word part here and edit its appearance. So if you want to add color, please do that. Makes it a little easier to see what you're doing. So right-click on part 1, edit appearance, pick a different color, check mark. Next part studio. This is a brace. seat. I like dark colors for seats. You can pick whatever you like though. I'll go with kind of a dark blue. Rails. And your legs. And they should update over here. You can always go back and change them again if you don't like them. I like to do that. It just makes it easier to tell them apart, and just makes this part easier. All right, here we go. We're going to assemble the outside legs together, and then the inside legs, and so on, just like we did while we were in the shop. Same procedure as before. If you need to go grab an example chair so you can kind of see it in person, feel free to do that. We're going to be using a lot of fasten mates and revolutes. Revolute mates are for anything that needs to spin. Fasten is for like the seats and the braces that don't move. They just get screwed down. All right, let's start with revolute mates. Let's get all of our little dowels in the right place. Okay, for your outside seats, the dowels face in the opposite directions. So grab the end, the very center of the end of it, make sure that symbol is showing. Okay, I need to spin this around and whip the opposite direction. If you need to flip it like this, please do it, and hit the check mark. Okay, I'm going to drag these away so they're easier to keep track of. Okay, so I'm working on these legs right now. I'm going to stick a rail over here on this side and this side. Okay, here they come, back to revolute. Pick the center of the hole. Okay, take your time, make sure you're getting the very center points picked. Okay, don't pick the end of the dowel, pick this connection back here. Okay, check to see if it makes sense, flip it. Okay, and hit the green check mark. And do the same thing on the opposite side. Oops, I might have missed the target there, so I'm going to try it again. It's that symbol we're looking for. Right there. Okay, so far so good. We're going to stick the seat on top of both rails and fasten them together. Alright, so I'm going to turn off revolute. Okay, if you ever see any red revolutes or fastens down here, please right click and delete them or turn it off. Those will just get in your way later. Alright, here comes a fasten mate. I'm going to fasten. Fasten means to join something together. I'm going to fasten this corner, make sure the symbol is flat, just like the seat right there. Do not pick this one or the other ones. It is this one. And stick that over here to the corner, make that same symbol show up. Okay, might look a little weird at first. Try flipping, try rotating, reorienting a few times. And yes, that is the position we're looking for. Once you're there, hit the green check mark. Okay, at this point, this thing won't rotate yet. I know that's the case. Let's stick this down here. We'll get to the rotate part in a moment. I'm going to tilt underneath. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to stick this corner up here to this part of the rail. All right, there's my symbol again. Tilt it and stick this thing right there. Okay, green check mark. All right, so that is fastened together. And I'm going to turn off. Actually, hang on. Nope, not turning anything off yet. Let's see, did I forget to bring in our braces? I think I did. Let me insert our braces. So back to the insert button. And there we go. Somehow I missed that. I need two braces. One here, and I'll need one over here later. Alright, sorry about that. Alright, let's add your brace by fastening. I'm going to stick it, I know they need to go up here, but I'm going to stick it down to this corner, and then I'm going to show you something called offset. We're going to push it over. So this is our target initially down here. So let's figure out which corner needs to go where. Click on that corner, grab it, and place it to this corner. Flip it around. Okay, yes, that is wrong at this point. But to finish it, let's add the check mark here for offset. Okay, if you look at your red, green, and blue directions, red goes out, green goes up and down this way, blue is vertical. I need to go green, which is Y. We're going to push this over 3 inches. 3 entered. And if it goes the wrong way, add a negative symbol in front and try it again. So I went -3. Okay, that's pretty close. You could go closer if you want to, but I'm okay with that. Right there, and hit the check mark. Alright, so these are stuck together. I'm pretty sure that this brace is not stuck to your leg yet, so I believe we still need to do that one. So let's get in here. I might have to come back to that later. Actually, let's put that on hold for a moment. Let's get the legs rotated away from there so we can see it. All right, one last thing. Let's revolute mate the dowel. Okay, not to the here, but we got to get all the way to the other side of the hole, to the back side right there. Oops, that's not what I was going for. Let's try it again. Escape. Revolute into the dowel. There it is. That's what we're going for. And that looks right, so I hit the check mark. Okay. Let's spin it around. And I'll stick this other one in here as well. Alright, let's grab this. Zoom in here. It's getting a little hard to see a lot of parts flying around here. I need to get to the very back of this thing. And that, do I need to flip it? Yep, that one didn't go well either. Let's try it again. Revolute. Must not have clicked it just right. It's very picky. There it is. And check mark. Okay, so you should have 2 dowels facing the inside. Something like this. So we are basically half done with our assembly now. Alright, before we move on, I want to get this thing rotating so you can see that things are correct. Alright, when you grab on, the whole thing moves. Okay, we don't want that to happen. We want it to start rotating properly. So if you were to hover and go up and down your parts list over here, you're looking for one of those dowels to light up. That. Okay, so it's up at the top of my list. I'm going to right click on it, on that part right there, and I'm going to choose fix. So we're going to fix this in space so it does not move. Everything else will move around it. So you can see here I didn't actually get that leg connected earlier, so we'll fix that. This should rotate the other half of the project. Alright, so we're basically going to build the parts that fit to the inside of this. Alright, your legs will be right up tight against the other legs, and the rails go to the inside instead of the outside like the other half. All right, here we go. Let's do some revolute mating. All right, we're going to join using the big handle dowel, the 9-inch. Okay, let's use revolute. Grab the end, stick it to the end. Check mark. Okay, next up, we're going to put this dowel over to this hole. Revolute is still on. Pick the end. Looks like I might have to rotate it to do it. To here. Okay, there we are. Alright, let's add the rails to the inside. Grab that circle. Here, I'll probably have to flip it as soon as it gets here. Flip, check mark. And this one, rotate it. And check mark. Alright, our seat is going to be fastened, and then we will offset it at the end. So we'll stick this corner to right here, and then we're going to shove it to the side, 2.25 inches. So hit fasten for me. Click on the corner that you want to bring to the rail. So I'm going to bring that one. I'm going to select this. Looks like it needs some flipping and rotating and offsetting right there. Looking at the red line. So let's go for X, 2.25 in this case, and add a negative if you have to make it go the other direction. Okay, so that one's good. Alright, we're going to have a hard time joining it right now. That nothing will rotate for us. And I can't get at the bottom side. We'll come back to that here in a moment as well. Let's fasten the brace. I'm going to stick this corner up to here and then offset it up 3 inches like we did earlier. That corner goes to this corner. And offset that. Let's do in the green direction for me. It looks like 3. And check mark. Okay, so far so good. So we should be able to bring these together here in a moment. Alright, I'm going to tilt this, and I'm going to flip it all around all in one move here. We're going to stick this circle, this hole I mean, to that location right there. So it won't be a fasten, it'll be a revolute. So we can spin. Grab this circle, stick it right here, and hit the check mark. That'll work. No, it needed me to flip it. I didn't flip it. Let me undo that. Let's try it again. Revolute. Oh yeah, it obviously needs to be flipped. Check mark. I didn't notice that the first time. Alright, anything working here yet? Seems like kind of a jumbled mess, but it does appear to be correct. So let me kind of rotate it around so we can make some sense out of this thing. I could just get it. Yes, there we go. It's being just a little bit difficult right now. Alright. Right. Oh boy. What a mess. Okay, let's get these two joined as well, so we're not fighting that problem. Okay, before we have too big of a mess here to recover from, let me get a few things cleaned up before we bring these two sides together here. Let's get this locked down, and we'll get this thing standing up correctly. Alright, so if you haven't already, let's fasten your brace this corner down here needs to get fastened down here for the moment so that we can offset it back up into place. And offset looks like it's red, and let's go up 3. Enter. -3. Sure. Okay, so hopefully that's all, yes, that's all working together. Okay, so that's finished, that side. Okay, now the other side, being that nothing's rotating yet, let's fix one part in space here. Let's fix this dowel for now. So we got to go find that in your parts history. So let's go and search for wherever that is on your list. There's mine right there. I'm going to right click and I'm going to fix that one as well so that I can rotate these legs down and I can get at this stuff. Here we can get the braces finished up.
Recording?
Yep, like this. Alright, so let's revolute mate like we did before. Let's get this corner. And that right there. And let's offset red. Looks like 3. Looks like a +3. We'll see. Nope, I'm wrong again, so -3. And finish. Okay, so that's looking good. Looks like we just have to get the rail and the seat taken care of now. Alright, so let's fasten that corner to this corner. And green is the direction we need to slide it, so offset it 2.25, enter. I'm going to add a negative to that check mark. Alright, so there they are. We're getting close now, putting it all together. So now I need to get this thing all flipped around. And, oh, hang on. Somehow these came apart here. Alright, so let me correct a mistake here. It looks like our brace needs to get shoved over in the X direction. So open your fasten back up. We did the 3-inch. We also need to shove it over in the X direction by 0.75. Of course, I went the wrong direction, so I add the negative in the front. And there we go. Okay, and then repeat the same thing on the opposite side. And offset that up. So green is going to be 3. And red is going to be 0.75. There we go. So now we got those correct. So over here, everything's flush on one side. On this other half of the project, things are not flush. You have to do a little more offsetting, like so. And it looks like I still have one rail to go here. So fasten. Let's pick this corner. And let's stick that up to this corner. And we will offset that in. Green is 2.25. Negative. All right, the final thing is to put it all together. So get a good angle on these inner dowels right here. We're going to take this outside hole and spin it around and stick it there. So this can all be done with the Revolute mate. So we have to join both dowels to these two legs over here. So select the circle and the center point. Strange, some of my selections are being really slow here. I don't know if it's my internet here at home being slow today or what. All right, one more try. Hopefully the internet's not slow at school for you while you're doing this. Right there. Okay, let's see where we're at here. And I do have a couple of things that are fixed. I'm going to unfix the handle. Right click and unfix it in the history list. So we only have that one dowel in the middle. Now that they're together, if you have two things that are fixed, usually things get stuck. So in the end, you only want one fixed part. All right, let's see how we did here. All right, that is pretty darn close. All right, that's about as close as I'm going to get right there. Okay, so go ahead and take a 3D picture of your screen once you get to this point, and then take a second picture of your project with it folded down. So in other words, put the parts together like this and fold it so it's in the closed position. So basically you prove to me that all of your mates and fastens work. If I can see both of those things, I can believe that everything is working here. Okay, so there's your second photo right there of your project. All right, that's it.